Hello y'all, welcome to part 2 of my Kingdom of Manitoba playthrough in the Hearts of Iron 4 mod Old World Blues. In part 1, we learned about the starting situation of the Kingdom of Manitoba and the issues it faces, such as the fact its leader may become a feral ghoul in the future, and that the country lost a war in the past which seems to have weakened it quite a bit, and it lost that war to the Republic of the Three Rivers and its allies, I guess, in the First Coalition War, which resulted in the reducing of size of the Kingdom of Manitoba's territory. And now let's go to the focus tree and start doing traders and revolutions. That will take 7 days. Well, traders and revolution, that will take 7 days, yes. Now we stand defeated but not broken. As the old flower Manitoba withered, a new stem emerges. And this will give us an event called the Age of Division. And just looking around this focus tree, we have a military branch, another military branch we can only unlock later, it seems, something relating to the advisor of the king, who is William Tanner, I believe, and something relating to our industry, the Jewel of the Crown branch here. And beyond that, there's a whole set of focuses that seem to be relating to wars, such as the new Duchess of Langenberg. It seems like we may end up fighting Langenberg, possibly. Yeah, perhaps. And I don't know, just looking through all this, we'll eventually try to conquer the Gateway, a country to our north, as well as the Blighted Woods to our northwest, as well as end up fighting either the Second Coalition faction, the Second Republican Coalition, the Republic of the Three Rivers, or the Metis Congress, and they are to our south and to our west, so to our east, I mean. So eventually it looks like we may end up fighting the Duchy of Langenberg, just going off the focus descriptions here at some point. So I might as well just take all these countries' units here and now. Give me your forces. I can't take them. Come on, can I have your soldiers, please? I mean, they're in our faction currently, and I gotta be ready for that. So let's move all of our units, in fact, over to the border of the Kingdom of Manitoba, facing the Duchy of Langenberg. And then we can't use an offensive line just yet. Let me split my army up, though. We have a new army established. Oh, whoops. That's actually just Army 1. That was my mistake. So just give them the original commander. What I'm going to do is basically break down our forces into a main force and an elite shock unit. Well, little small army that can hopefully be very good at just attacking places with firepower and just being a nuisance. So Army 2 is a thing. Get Grace and Hauser here, and let's set up a new army group and have these two be a part of it. We'll probably end up getting a commanding officer from one of these focuses, hopefully. Okay, yeah. Appoint a new captain of the guard. That's how we'll get a field marshal or commanding officer. So for now, just have these troops set up on the border. And if we have a war with Langenberg, Grace and Hauser here has pretty alright stats. We'll have the elite forces try and push into Roblin, and then go down to Langenberg at Yorkton, and that will be the way we break the Duchy of Langenberg. And if we have a conflict, so I need to make more canoes, possibly, or make some destroyers instead. Let's make those instead, fine, and put all of our naval dockyards on the production of that, and let us send our navy down here. Come on, get the navy now. Give them a commander. There we go. And send them down to the Assiniboine River and just have them set up there. And besides that, let's go to our construction. Stop building anything in Brandon currently, and just start building tons and tons of outposts along the northern border here. Well, our border with Langenberg. If a war should break out, we need to be ready to be on the defensive, and we want to be careful that we'll be ready in February 2275. Good. And that's about a month, basically. And we're doing the focus of Traders and Revolution. It's one of those focuses a lot of countries in Old World Blues have, where they have like an introduction event just explaining the background situation in the country. And honestly, we need to get more manpower, so I'm gonna have to worry about that for sure. And of Traders and Revolution will be done soon. The Age of Division. Okay, so let's read this. With the death of King Brandon the 11th, on the line of gun was destroyed. King Brandon the 11th, for the record, was the king that ended up losing to the First Coalition well, in the first coalition war against the Republic of Three Rivers and their allies, and the line of Gun was destroyed. This is a reference to Gun the first king of Manitoba. That's why we have Gun the second here. And though the kingdom of Manitoba, the kingdom had survived in the face of traitors, it now lay leaderless. That is until one decided to step up, an ancient man whose body had known to taste radiation well, whose life had seen not just the rise and decline of the kingdom, but the death of the old world itself. A man who once served as the oldest friend and greatest advisor of King Gun I himself. This ghoul would be the one to step up and lead the kingdom in its darkest hour, his true name unknown to all but his beloved wife. The new King Gun II now stands as our monarch, a wise yet firm ruler. He strives to rebuild the kingdom from the ashes of the coalition war, though it is not only external enemies he must deal with. Dissatisfied nobles whisper behind the Ghoul King's back about the line of Langenberg's ambitions, and mock the commoner Mountie he has raised up to be his trusted right hand. To the east and south, old enemies continue to stir, not satisfied with just separation from the kingdom, but instead its total destruction. Yet the greatest enemy lies within King Gun's II's own mind, as the ravages of time threaten to consume him. In this age of division, focus is key, and in order to restore our kingdom to glory, Gun II first turned his attention to, and we can pick the economy, the sciences, or the army. Let's go with the army. And the army for Manitoba's enemies continue to bare their teeth, and this will give us 2 arms workshops, and let us start making more. We need more guns, really. We really need more guns. And now, how are we doing research-wise? We're going to have organized agriculture done. I think I'm going to rush agricultural technology. Yeah, agricultural technology is a good thing to rush in this mod, I believe. So now in the focus tree, let's do on borrowed time, and that will take 7 days to complete. It says here, everything dies. That is the law of life, the bitter, unchangeable law. But just because our fate is written does not mean that we have to accept it lying down. And this will give us an event called the Dying Immortal. Yet let's use more factories on guns here, and actually use a few for dogs and for, I guess, what do we need? I suppose scout kits, potentially. Fine. We have quite a bit of guns for now. I'm saving up my Canadian dollars, the currency this country uses, instead of like bottle caps. We're going to try and get some military signing bonuses, and we have our troops just watching out the Duchy of Langenberg here, who has not really betrayed us just yet. They have the Royal Duchess Sophie in charge of the country still, so I am a little worried. Okay, the Dying Immortal, and so we have an event here. King Gun II could feel his age, not physically. The old ghoul had gotten used to the pain that came with his condition for centuries now, but in his failing mind. In the past, he had dreaded his dreams, haunted by the specter of Manitoba's past mistakes and failed conquest. Now he wishes nothing more but to have them back. Everything, even the constant torment of his ever-working consciousness, was preferable to the blackness that now accompanied in his nights. It was as if he threatened to drown in an ocean of pitch-black tar every time he closed his eyes. The first time it happened, even before he was known as Gun II, he had just tried to scream, shaking his despondent body, trying to get himself to wake up. But nothing seemed to work. He just kept existing and not existing as darkness seemed to flow through him. He awoke one morning alone in an expensively decorated room in a palace to find his bedroom torn to pieces, expensive-looking fabric tossed carelessly onto the ground. He had heard stories of normal ghouls turning into feral, mindless monsters, roaming the irradiated plains in the single-minded pursuit of living tissue, as if it could bring them back from the terrible fate they had suffered. He had never considered the possibility that they could have all been once like him. From that night on, King Gun II forbade anyone, including his wife, Queen Catherine, from entering his personal chambers. His sentries were under strict orders to keep the heavy oak door locked no matter what they might hear. Only a single member of his royal advisers knew of his condition, that having been none other than William Tanner. Should it come down to it, King Gun II commanded Tanner to prevent harm from coming to those around him, even at the cost of the old ghoul's life. However, these precautions did little to save the growing fear and dread in the king's heart that one day he would never awaken from the darkness. Memento Mori, and this will give us 5% base war support, and William Tanner is one of our commanders. Now in the focus tree, I think he has a special focus that goes more into his backstory, but we'll check that out later maybe. Let's now do the focus, Ancient Dynasties, and that will take 30 days. And it says here, most members of the Manitoban aristocracy can trace their lineage back to the fallen duchies of Asplon, Angers, Dolphins, and Warwick, as well as the Hudson River Company. However, decaying imperial power following the Métis Rebellion and Republican Coalition War has curbed their influence significantly, and this will give us a national spirit called the Manitoban aristocracy, which will help with Cap's income, but cost us stability, and I think reduce the amount of consumer goods or something like that. So the Métis Rebellion, the Métis Congress is right over here, and the Republic of Three Rivers is here, and they may try to team up to take on the Kingdom of Manitoba later on. I don't know though. And so how is Langenberg doing? They're still our friends for now. They're part of the Kingdom of Manitoba faction. I guess they're kind of like a vassal, but they have a lot of autonomy. I think that's how that dynamic works. Are they still part of our faction? Okay, yeah. So we're just waiting. Oh, we can get an operative. Let's get an operative for the intelligence agency, the Royal Security Service. Do we want to become the spy master? I say no. Let's just choose to put diplomatic pressure on Langenberg, because I am concerned about potential war. And I wish I could just take their divisions away from them. That would be pretty, I don't know. We just can't do that because they're not a puppet of ours. They're not technically a subject within the system of the Hoi 4 mechanics, I suppose. And that is something to be aware of. And if we have a war with them, we're going to have to cross the Assiniboine River. I guess this is what that is, right here. All this, we have to cross over this water, which will be quite the challenge. I'm aiming, ultimately, if we have a conflict break out between us and them, we'll have our Special Forces army here consisting of the People's Mounties and the Motorized to go and take Langenberg and then maybe Yorkton. And we need more soldiers, I really do. I need more men-at-arms, please, or levies. What do the levies need? They're our militia, but they need... How much manpower? They need 225. The men-at-arms need 190, but they're better troops. We just need better units. So how do these guys set up here? And just start getting divisions, please. We need more units ready to go in case a war breaks out, just to hold the line. How is that whole land fort system working out? Kind of okay. We just have a few of them now, but we need more, especially in the north here, as our goal is to just pierce through the south and hope our opponent attacks us in the north. And I may not build any more land forts, at least around Winnipegasus, because that would be Winnipegasus right here on this area. We got to defend that area for sure, because it is a place we need to defend. Organized agriculture is done. Good, let's go to the research now and start researching seed selection that will help monthly population and appeals to refugees, because we need manpower so bad. And as soon as possible, I'm going to try and start doing a focus that will start researching conventional warfare's first part of that army doctrine, because we do need soldiers. Ancient Dynasties is done. Let's now begin doing appoint a new captain of the guard. That'll take 30 days. The last captain of the guard died of old age just days after he executed his chosen successor for cowardice in face of the enemy. Ever since, the king has refused to name a new successor, perhaps fearing another betrayal. However, the royal guard can only be as strong as its leader, and the time has come to put superstition aside, and this will give us Captain Tobias as a commanding officer, who will be the field marshal of the Kingdom of Manitoba's armies, basically, and we're aiming for him to be quite good, I think. And so Langenberg is no longer part of the Kingdom of Manitoba faction. So it seems like a rift has occurred, and that is a little concerning, but I do expect a war, just going off of the focus descriptions here, to occur at some point, honestly. And with that, I'm going to end what is part 2 of my Kingdom of Manitoba playthrough in the Hearts of Iron 4 mod, Old World Blues here. If you enjoyed the mod, you can check it out in the video description. A link to it is there. If you enjoyed the video itself, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.